Okay, hello again. We're back in the game room. Today I wanted to do a sort of retrospective 40k video about Imperial Armor, Siege of Vraks. This is Imperial Armor Volume 5, as it says. Um, this was one of my favorite Warhammer 40k supplements. I got this as a birthday gift one year. Always loved the Deathcore Krieg. I mean, who doesn't? But I think more than just the look of the Deathcore Krieg, I mean, this campaign book is just really detailed and really in depth and not something that I think they would really put out today other than some of the Horus Heresy books. And I'm making this because I actually managed to find an affordable copy of Part 2, which is Imperial Armor Volume 6 on eBay. So I'll probably do a follow-up on that when I get it. But I've had this for a while now. These books are all pretty much all out of print, unfortunately. So all those old great Forge World books are long gone. So I'm just going to do a flip through and take a look at it. It's by Warwick Kinraid, who wrote those World War II rules I reviewed on the channel, Battle Group. So do a quick look at the table of contents. You got Siege of Vraks, the different army lists and stuff. You got some appendixes. You got some scenarios. So the basic premise of this book is that there's this planet Vraks, and there's a revolt by a corrupt imperial cardinal. And so there's a traitor militia, which is like the corrupted chaos militia, and then the Vraxian Imperial Guard are sent in to deal with the situation, and then you also get Dark Angels and Alpha Legion in this, which is really cool in the scenarios and stuff. And the narrative, there's some of the great artwork. The narrative is really long and detailed, very in depth. And you get more of these great Forge World art images. Just keep flipping through this. I wanted to really take a look at some of this artwork because it's just in these models because it's just really terrific. I get these sweet tanks. Got some more vehicles. These side view drawings from in this Forge World book I really like. I don't know why it is. They're just really clean and very nice, like something you'd see in a high quality like Osprey book. And you've got, this is the traitor militia or renegade militia, I guess. I was actually trying to find some of these models because I wanted to use these as Chaos Cultists for my 40k Alpha Legion, but they seem to be no longer in production in Forge World, unfortunately, and not on eBay, or not many on eBay at least. Got 7 years had passed since the first, so this is a really long storyline in the book. And the Dark Angels come in. So these are some of the traitor vehicles. So I mean, really, if you wanted to replay this, it wouldn't be too difficult. There's Dark Angels. Get some guard chimeras, and destroyer tank hunter. You could still do this, I think, because there's also some for that Blackstone Fortress. I've seen there are renegade guard that you could, conceivably use as like stand-ins for the renegade militia, or just use chaos cultists. I mean, that would work too. And then there's the map and poster on the back. Let me just flip to the army list real quick, and we can take a look at those. More Dark Angels. I went too far. Let's see. So you get a lot of different vehicle variants in this. Gorgon Heavy Assault Transport. More pictures of the guard, or the Grenadiers. I really like these guys. And I mean, you can look at this really detailed, in-depth history of the Death Corps Krieg. I mean, just fantastic. Some more tank variants. Let's flip to the army lists. The scenarios. There's some of the artillery pieces. Let's get to try and find the troops. That's what I'm looking for. Heavy weapons. An entire infantry company. Imagine trying to build all this out of resin. Woof. And got the Gorgon, the Centaur. So I guess it's been a while since I've looked at this, so I guess you would just use the Imperial Guard Codex for the Death Corps Krieg. Got some of these other vehicle variants. Of course, this was back when vehicles had facings, armor facings. Oh, here we go. Death Corps Krieg Siege Regiment Army List. So, we got our HQs. As near as I can tell, not too crazy different from the regular Imperial Guard. Commissars, got elites, grenadiers, heavy mortars, heavy quad launcher. Here we go, troops, infantry platoon. Okay, so there were, let's see, guardsmen. All right, about normal. They got a little bit better weapon skill. Toughness is pretty standard saves for the command. Got all you can pause this if anyone's interested and take a look at some of the army lists. And this is still back when there was the initiative stat, which I think getting rid of was a huge mistake on the part of Games Workshop in writing the rules. Just take a look at this, because also no damage stat, which makes things a lot easier. You just take a wound, I used to get overwhelmed by these lists back when I started in 5th edition, but I think in retrospect now, these books are also, this book in particular, is also just a lot more better organized than the current crop of codexes. And then you got Dark Angels list. So we got some stuff about them. Just use the Dark Angels Codex that existed at the time, or the Marine Codex. You got Forces of Chaos, which are the Defenders of Vraks. So, pretty similar. Kind of a guard sort of style of list. Now they got a D6 plus 4 leadership. That's interesting. HQs. And then you've got Alpha Legion in here as elites for the Chaos list, which is pretty cool. And we've got the Renegade Militia. Again, pretty much a guard stat line. And then not as good. Their weapon skill just isn't as good as the Vraxian Guard, because, presumably they're not trench fighters like the Vraxian guard are, or the Krieg, Deathcore Krieg. Misspoke there, sorry. Got a lot of different options for this list, for, what you might think would just be like a small one-off list. Yep, you got plenty of options, you got a few heavy options. Let's see. Renegade tank, so you can pick from one of these different tanks. You got artillery, weapons platform, basically, modified guard list, essentially, for the Vraxian Renegade Militia. The Krieg, obviously, Deathcore Krieg has more specialized stuff. And then you've got the scenarios. So you got a terrain generator for building a board. You've got all this stuff, really detailed. And then you have the old force organization charts. So no detachments or CPs or anything. It's just, this is what you've got. This is kind of an interesting setup because you don't have to have it in HQ. So in 5th edition, you had to have probably 3rd and 4th as well, I think. You had to have HQ, 2 troops was compulsory, but this one, because it's supposed to be a small game, you just have 2 troops for attacker, some elites, and defender only gets 1 troop. Yeah, so that's kind of interesting. These are some missions I'd really like to try if I could at some point. Maybe might do that for a solo game on the channel. You got more stuff. Just more of these scenarios. Tank duel, fortress, and it also has, kind of like a historical war game. What forces you would have to take, different weapons, and I think some people might think this is limited, but I think when you have prescribed weapons you have to take, and here they give you pretty much all of them, but you have to kind of work around a challenge, not necessarily having everything or having limited options. You got the raid on the starports. I think this one has, this is Dark Angels, and then you've got Renegade versus Renegade Militia. Oh, cool. There's an Alpha Legion special character. That's interesting. He's got some of these special rules, which is kind of neat. Son of Alfarius. Interesting. Anyway, not to linger too long on that, I'll have to take a look at that later. And this is another scenario I'd really like to try. If I could maybe get my friend that plays Dark Angels to maybe try this out with me. But you've got this Alpha Legion ambush on this city fight table. You got Azrael's in there from the Dark Angels. So they get a few Alpha Legion squads, a few Renegade Militia. Really neat. And then you got the last scenario here. Like I said, this was a Forge World book, but I just don't really see Games Workshop doing something this in-depth and really high quality in current 40k. I just think the new kind of fans that they brought in aren't really interested in stuff like this, but maybe I'm wrong about that. I hope I'm wrong. And some of the ads in the back for the other Imperial Armor books, Siege of Vraks Part 2, which I've got on the way, so that'll be interesting to read and revisit that. And then it also includes this map on the other side. I'm not going to pull it all apart, but it's a map of part of Vraks and then a poster of the Deathcore Krieg. So, and when was this published? I think this was published in, okay, 2010, yep. So, I probably got this, oh no, first published in 2007. Okay, so, and this is a 2010 edition. So I probably got this around 2010, I would think, maybe 2009. Yeah, 2010 probably. Um, yeah, just a great book. One of my favorite 40k supplement books. And I think just to start wrapping up here, I mean, there's an old interview with Alan Bly, who was one of the main designers at Forge World, that said, you know, when we make these books, he passed away, unfortunately. But you know, they're trying to give a really in-depth slice of the universe, and I think that's something that they don't really do as much anymore. They want to focus on this big stuff, but I think this is a much better. This was a much better approach, especially with Forge World, where you can have these really cool campaigns in the universe that have really detailed stories and unique, you know, units and all this stuff. But you know, that isn't necessarily connected to, you know, some big pushing the storyline forward idea. So anyway, I hope you like this, and like I said, I'm gonna get part two soon, so I'll take a look at that, because I've never actually looked at that book. I've just seen the pictures of it online, so take a look at that, and probably do a video on that whenever that comes in. Hope you enjoyed this look back at the Siege of Vraks, and I hope you enjoyed it again. And if you want me to do more of these, if you're maybe newer to 40k and you're subscribed, you want me to do more of these, you know, retrospective 40k videos. I've got 3rd edition rulebook, I've got the 5th edition rulebook, which is pretty old now, and some of the older codexes I still have. So if you like that, you know, let me know, and I will talk to you next time.